How's it going, guys? It's Cass. As always, if you've been enjoying my content, then hit that subscribe button. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a change happening to one of Demon Hunter's best offensive PvP talents, and that change is happening to Mortal Rush. What we're going to do first is we're going to look at what Mortal Rush does currently, and then we're going to compare the two with the actual change, just to talk about the potential negative aspect of this change. So Mortal Rush currently makes it so whenever you press Fell Rush, you apply mortal wounds on the target that you do damage to for 10 seconds. It's important to point out here that this is for 10 seconds specifically, and Fell Rush has a 10-second recharge with 2 charges. So in a perfect world, you could keep 100% uptime with this while still having 1 charge of Fell Rush, and then on top of that, you still have things like Soul Shave and Vengeful Retreat. So the likelihood that you're getting in situations where you're trying to keep this up the whole entire time, but don't have access to a movement ability that causes you to die is actually pretty slim in the grand scheme of things. On top of that, we're using talents like Unbound Chaos just because of the amount of burst that we get with Unbound Chaos. So this basically just works tandem with Mortal Rush currently whenever you press Unbound Chaos to do as much damage as you're trying to do in those windows. You are just passively applying Mortal Rush as well. So let's keep that in mind, and let's take a look at the change coming to the PTR. So Mortal Rush has been changed to Mortal Dance, and it makes it so Blade Dance now reduces the target's healing received by 25% for 5 seconds. So let's talk about that second half there. Since it only has 5 seconds of uptime, whenever we look at Blade Dance specifically, Blade Dance has an 8-second base cooldown, and then it gets reduced by haste. But realistically, unless you're in meta or have Demonic up, you really won't have this up for 100% of the time. So we already have a reduction in uptime with this change. On top of that, it doesn't really have any conjunction with this unless we start playing Trail of Ruin, which the likelihood we're starting to play Trail of Ruin with options like Glaive Tempest and Unbound Chaos is just extremely low because of the amount of damage potential Trail of Ruin actually gives us. Then we have to actually look at the changes coming in patch 9.1. All of the buffs the Demon Hunter is receiving is to their single target abilities, specifically Chaos Strike, Demon's Bite, and Annihilate. Whenever we think about that, it's just going to make Blade Dance worse. And in order to have 100% uptime, we literally have to press Blade Dance off cooldown. That change alone coming in patch 9.1 is probably going to push a lot of people away from playing First Blood just because of the amount of damage increase from First Blood is going to be a lot less. It's going to make it so more people are going to be pushed into playing Cycle of Hatred anyway. And also, there could be some situations where Essence Break has some potential good situations as well. This change really doesn't make that much sense when we start to realize the buffs that the class are getting. You don't want to be pressing Blade Dance off cooldown to begin with. And then on top of that, we have to look at the actual effectiveness of healing received here. When we look and compare the two, we can first see the buff that we get with Mortal Dance. We get a buff called Mortal Dance, which reduces healing effects received by 25%. But how the old Mortal Rush used to work is it applied Mortal Wounds, which is obviously the exact same debuff that Mortal Strike from Warriors apply, which made it so Demon Hunter could be competitive in some of the same comps Warriors were. It made it so healing effects received were reduced by 50%. So this is twice as much reduction as before. So this talent has cut the healing reduction in half, and it's cut the duration by a decent amount as well. And this is why this change is not a good change. People like to think that this is a quality of life fix, whereas the only thing that it's doing is it's forcing you to press a button that's probably just going to be worse to press, and it's way less effective than it was in its current state. I think this change makes honestly no sense. It pushes Demon Hunter out of even more comps, and honestly, this change alone may push Demon Hunter down significantly in PvP ranks, even given the buffs that we are receiving. Overall, I hope this is just a missight and this will get changed to the actual full amount of healing reduction. But if it doesn't, then unfortunately, we're going to be in a situation where this talent probably won't see any playability. As always, if you like the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, F5 refresh, try it again, maybe like the second time. Have a good one.